Hey, Maria, back with another video. It's 8:54 p.m. and I gotta say that I really don't think I made the best use of my time today because I've been in like, constant state of meditation. Because it seems like every time I find out some tidbit of information, I tend to go on this big tangent and then just like, start overthinking, And, I think I said enough about, the stalker anyway. But I did get this intuitive message about some sort of this I was not even aware of. Okay, like I get this intuitive message that there is some sort of like maybe an apparition that may be appearing on camera in certain places where I go. Or okay, it could be like at work, it could be like at the grocery store. I tend to have some sort of spirit like follower or something that appears on camera. And some people believe that this may be the spirit of my father, James Calvin Gordon, also known as King Tut. I don't know. It's just something that's floating around in my mind. And I do believe it has something to do with this person that I am working for. Okay. Now the thing is that, it does when you're dealing with stalking and people who are fixated on you and fixated on your like uniqueness and your talents and whatever, this is one of the reasons why you end up getting targeted or trafficked or whatever. The thing is that I, regardless of how special I am, whether I have a spirit traveler that gets to be seen on camera or whatever, I'm still an individual and I still have to make my own choices. Now I know that after making all those videos, after the Patreon debacle, the Patreon debacle, and I think I also got slammed again when I did something about I forgot what it was called. I think it was called Kofi or something like that. I tried to do something else and move my channel, my social media, and there again it was sabotaged. Okay, and once again, here I am, a 54-year-old woman. And I have always been somebody who is independent. I've never expected handouts. I've never expected people to, uh, to 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 help me. I've always figured, if I need something, I'm going to try to do it myself. And I know that, they were playing a lot of, manipulative games, in the employment sector while I was off from work. So, I figured, okay, well, this is now the time to start stepping out and doing my creative stuff. And so they wanted to dominate. I'm referring to Rex Laverne, wanted to dominate that as well. So, and the Patreon thing, when I'm considering the fact that, I don't even think at the time that I realized that at that time when I was doing the Patreon thing, I don't think that I realized I was King Solomon. I do believe I might have, because I'm trying to think about timelines. Okay, I'd have to reflect on the videos at the time because seriously, it seems as though these last few years have kind of blurred into everything. But I do know that I am King Solomon. Okay, and everyone knows that King Solomon was a very big occultist. Okay, and when I think about how I am a good occultist and I understand how working with things like alchemy and stuff like that, and I do it for the modern day because I understand things like magic. Oh, it used to be a very complex thing, and it's not as complex as it used to be. So I simplify it for the modern day, right? And this is one of the things that I did with food magic and a couple of my other videos, okay? And so, understanding the history that I am, I felt so. Now I'm looking back, okay? Because I don't think I knew I was King Solomon at that time. But anyway, I still think that it would have been a profitable thing, okay, had I been able to have full control of it, had my reputation not have been smeared. Now, this whole thing that was being played out was well known to the people that were supporting this man, okay? And I do believe that, there's a lot of people who are not supporting him anymore, and I'm very grateful for that. But I will tell you, after, making a bunch of videos before, like, before I actually started working at the place that I'm working now, which is his place, right? Um, I had, mentioned before, my anxieties around people, my distrust, and me needing to feel safe. Okay, so that to me, you know, um, and I had made videos. This is I'm referring to the entire network because I do believe that he was in association with people that I used to know in Lancaster. And I do also believe that, he or him maybe, and the other group, people of the group, decided to want to have some sort of competition with me, mainly because they were maybe jealous of who I have become, right? Who I have always been, but who I was able to flourish without them, like being in their presence, being around the negativity, and being able to kind of rise above it and be my own person, right? Freely. And so there was some sort of competition. Now, I'm going to let you know, obviously, these sort of competitions are illegal, especially when they're getting played out in the workplace. Now, I think when I first started making these videos in 2015, the reason why people didn't take it seriously is because this is very commonplace for them. It's normal to do these sort of things, okay? But like I said, I understand law, and I also understand that there is always going to be the cause and effect, okay? And when you play around with work, people don't understand what a job means to people. Okay. Now, for some people who may have been born with a silver spoon in their mouth, they may not have to worry about that sort of stuff. Okay. But for people such as myself, okay, who are trying to protect myself from men who want to exploit women financially, such as Rex Laverne, okay, we have to protect ourselves. Okay. And so when people bully you at work, okay, this is the reason why workplace mobbing, okay, is so dangerous. Okay, because I want you to understand what your job is tied to. Now, our job is tied to our lives, whether you like your job or not. Okay, our job is tied to our lives. Okay, think of yourself having to support your family. Okay, you have to make money. Okay, and we all know that there's times where you could lose a job and you can't just go out and find another one. Okay, so that might have some sort of effect on your financial, budget, and how you're going to be able to manage things, how you're going to pay your bills and whatever. These financial obligations that are already a stress to you. Okay, so when it's very much like when I was getting bullied at Murray Family Farms, I honestly felt it was like, okay, think about it in the olden days, right? Where like somebody is threatening you and then like holding you back and lighting a match to your barn, to your livestock, to everything that you have. Okay. Now I understand, like in the normal world, when a person is not blacklisted, when there is no employment manipulation, when there is no issue of human trafficking, you can go out and find a job. If it didn't work out with your other employer, you can just go out and find another job. Okay. But when you have campaign smears, when you have all of this sort of stuff, and somebody who controls your employment, you are basically reduced to nothing but a slave, and you are at the mercy of them. Okay. And this is why I was talking about this many years ago. Now, you notice that video that I made, the stalking in the workplace, was made 4 years ago. Okay, I don't know if it was made like in the spring or whatever, because I don't remember that. Okay, I'm just basing it off of what the little subtitle said on YouTube. And I was like, dang, that was 4 years ago. So as I was posting the video that I made today, and I did put the link in the description box, these people knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. Okay, these are fanatical people that have been watching my videos, stalking me and everything. And I'm referring mostly to Rex Laverne. Okay, he knew this. Okay. Now I'm talking about, I was talking about the different kind of stalking behaviors, the kind of stalker. And I do believe that, because I got these intuitive messages that I was not really cool about this afternoon, right? I was like not really cool about it. Okay. The first intuitive message is that this man is going around telling people that he and I were a couple or having some sort of relationship or whatever. Totally false. Totally false. Now, I had mentioned before in my videos that I had been dealing with bullying at my workplace. And this video that I had made 4 years ago about having like delusional people who think that everything is attributed to them. Just like the issue with the Jodie Foster issue with her having a stalker. And there's no way possible that, she's even thinking about him. But in his mind, something is clicking and thinking that it is. Okay. So a lot of times when people have like stalkers that are obsessed with them, okay, the stalker will try to modify the woman's behavior because in his mind that you belong to them or whatever. You know what I mean? Also, you'll notice that the jobs that I've worked, I am also always in social isolation. Okay. You notice that they make sure that you are separated from people that you know. Now, I understand that there's a lot of jealousy towards me from the people that I used to know. And this is probably what fueled him, as well as his need to dominate women. Okay. So, I don't really feel as though, obviously, I don't like to play these sort of games. And this is the reason why it's illegal. This is the reason why, workplace mobbing and this sort of stuff is so dangerous. It's not just kidding around. It is, you are dealing with a person's life. You are dealing with their future. You're playing games with their life. And this is what I was talking about, people who go postal. People who and because of all the little covert secrecy, all the little game playing and everything like this. And meanwhile, this person has stress. They got bills and everything else. And I'm not in any way saying that it's an okay thing to do to go off on a murderous rampage in your workplace. Okay. But this sort of game playing, okay, knowing good and well what they're playing with. They are playing with your life. You don't do that. And see, this is why I was talking about it. And everybody thought I was joking. Everybody, it was funny. It was all a fun game. Stop it. It was all fun and games, right? It was all fun and games at first, right? Because people always think that, some people they have such low self-esteem. What's up with the dog? Dang, the dog, something supernatural going on? Maybe, because the dog's really looking at me. Dude, okay, I don't have time to tap into the dog's mind right now. But anyway, that's going to have to wait till later. Yeah, but anyway, listen, people were warned that this was going on. Okay, they were warned and they understood. They were well educated. Okay, and so I want people to understand this in the employment system. Okay, that stalking is not a joke. It is not a joke. It is not a game that you play. Okay, it is a very serious situation, Okay, so the other thing that that was going, hang on, I'm going to go ahead and pause this because the dog is really freaking out. Okay, hang on 1 second. I'm not going to pause it because something here. What is it? No, I got to do something. Oh, you need to get outside. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I am so sorry. Okay, so the dog was looking all intense at me, right? And there's times where I literally try to figure out, because there's times where animals are trying to warn you of something, right? So I was like, okay, let me take some time to find out what he wants. And I'm like, you just need to use the restroom, okay? It's really not that big. But it must have really needed to go bad because he was looking at me in the eye and he was like, I really need to go. Anyway, so anyway. Yeah, see, the thing is that, I had made videos years ago talking about my love of clothes. Okay. My love of clothes and, I'm into clothes. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you, when I was a little girl, I knew that I was a working woman. When I was Maria Gordon as a kid, I knew I was a working woman. My dad had an old typewriter in his closet and from the military, and I would not leave it alone. It's I always knew that I was always meant to work in an office, right? I mean, I just knew that, right? And I remember when I was growing up, I used to watch it was in syndication. The TV show was in syndication at the time. The show was called Batgirl, right? And I used to think, okay, now obviously, just because you admire a white person does not mean that you think you're white or anything. But what I knew about the character that Marlo Thomas played is that I love the fact that she was always styling. She was always styling. And I always felt, I always liked clothes. Now, come to be that I was a clothes fanatic as C.B. Berganza. So obviously that show appealed to me. So in my mind, I always believed that success to me is a form, or that's a way of expressing your success. This is who you are. To me, this is what a woman is. It's a part of her essence, if she chooses it to be. Right? Plain and simple. There is no man involved. It doesn't have to involve anybody. And see, a lot of women love clothes. They love those sort of things, right? And it's always these delusional people that think it's for them. That's a problem. Okay, so we have women who obviously, when they think about who they are as a successful person. When you're looking at a little girl and she's dreaming about her success, she's thinking about this. And yeah, sometimes, a lot of times, they do have a physical appearance, in their mind. Okay, and that's just who we are. Okay, and this, I'm comfortable with it. To me, that I have a work look, and then today I balled up all my hair and I put this cap on, and I really like this outfit. Okay, I really liked it because I kept thinking, I'll just go shopping in this little. I love this little hat, right? But I have my work attire that I feel inspires me, right? And then I also have my play down clothes. And it's always been that way. When I was a little kid, I mean, my mom, we did go to church for a little bit, okay? Very, very short period of time. My mother bought me, Sunday school clothes, right? And then also I had school clothes, right? And then when I came home, and if I wanted to play out or something like that, my mother would put me in my brother's old hand-me-downs, right? So I've always, switched clothes. I've always had, different clothes for different occasions. I've always been that way, right? So, and I made it very clear, this had nothing to do, and see, this is where the bullying comes in. This is where the bullying comes in. We're going to prove her this. Oh, she's really lying. She's not. I don't need to justify my actions to anyone. This is what people don't understand. They really think that they have the right to demand and stand in your way and try to, fit you with people that is never going to work. Okay? Now I'm going to tell you what. I will not be with a white person. Okay? And I'm not interested in dating anyone. I am a 50-something-year-old woman. I am accustomed to living alone. Okay? And I don't want people touching me. Just like that guy who talked to me, Rex, when he touched me, don't touch me. Okay, if you touch me on my arm, okay, I'm already grossed out. God knows I'm not going to be swapping body fluids with you. It's just that simple. Okay, now I know that I've had issues with the white race. No, I am not on a murderous rampage toward white people. I want peace to white people. Okay, Justin Hayward's songs came on the radio today. I was happy to hear them. You know what I mean? The Beatles came on. I was happy to hear them. Wondering, and I just wanted to tell, Ringo Starr how much I really like his new song. I like it. You know what I mean? I'm over that. You know what I mean? I'm over it. You know what I mean? What I've really been thinking about Solomon is it's like, dude, Solomon's really deep. Because in all my intuitive readings, I keep thinking, okay, I've been cloned all my life. So that's deep. So I don't have I might have black skin, but who really am I? That's deep. That is really deep. I am a spirit being, okay? And I'm here for this human experience, okay? And don't get me wrong, that does not mean that I don't support black people, okay? Because I understand we deal with hardships. That is a fact. That is a fact, okay? A lot of this would not have happened had I not, it would happen anyway, because he doesn't care about women, okay? I mean, this is what it is, okay? But but the thing is that, I feel as though that education is important in order to improve society. And I'm going to be talking about this in both of my upcoming projects, okay? Because, once you inform a person of what something or what the result of what something could happen, or you let them know that this is the possibility of what can happen. You explain to them what that standard is, okay, and based on the consequences of that. Like, that's why laws are established, right? Okay, so it's not like these people who were doing this to me weren't warned. Okay, it's not like, I can claim ignorance, especially when you dominate my channel. You can't say that you didn't know. And you see, this is what it is that people tend to think that they are separated from the situation that they're in. They also tend to not recognize that it is them themselves who are this way. Okay, this is one of the reasons why you have people who molest children, right? And in their little delusional minds, they have a relationship with that child. It's different. They'll keep saying, this is different. She's in love. She's mature. She's only 12, but she's mature. This kind of thinking. And you know what? That's all very well and good in your mind, but the law says something different. Especially the terrified girl who has to put up with your shit. Okay? This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. It's like, the thing is, People, I'm tired of people saying, oh, I didn't know. I'm tired of people saying, I didn't know. I'm tired of that. It's not an excuse. Okay. Because, here's the thing, people do know on some level. You know why they know? Because that stupid smile tells me that they know. That little, like when you come around, see, they may not know that the action is illegal, but they certainly know it's immoral, and they know what they're doing. They know it's trying to get under your skin. Okay. And just that alone right there tells you that they have some sort of nitpick and they're trying to cross some sort of boundary. Okay. So I don't put up with bullshit. I don't. Okay. And this is the reason why I make these videos. Okay. So the intuitive messages that we're getting is that, yeah, this man is a delusional stalker. He has been telling people, like his wife, that he and I have been seeing, it's like, ooh, no, I have not. Okay. And most people know that I'm not going to do that. Okay. I did notice when I first got hired there, and see, I notice this also happens when you're going on job interviews, when you're a targeted individual, when people are playing the game, the matchmaking game. Okay. They often put you in situations where you have to encounter men that look, somewhat decent. Okay. Now, when I first met this man, my first thought was he reminded me of the guy who played in 90210. He reminded me of the Zirig. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He kind of reminded me of the long hair, the blue eyes, and all that stuff. And I remember thinking that, and I kept thinking, that this could be a setup. Okay, this could be a setup, because I remember going on job interviews with decent-looking men. Okay, and it's not that I don't think that men are handsome or anything like that, and it doesn't matter what you look like, though. You can be the most gorgeous man in the world, okay? But if you're weird, okay, and if you're just sitting here trying to use me or manipulate me or trying to take things from me, no, and see, I made it very clear that I do not want to get in a marriage where a man feels as though he has some sort of control over me and trying to dominate me financially. And see, and I get the intuitive message that, he was trying to take credit or trying to have some sort of control over my work. That's why we have the shadow channel. Now you notice that I believe that the work that I produced was good. Was it like great? I think some people have better artistic skills when it comes to changing slides, how to change slides, smoother transitions, and that sort of stuff. Okay, so there's a lot of people who have better skills, but I thought the content was good, and the fact that I'm King Solomon. I mean, I am the master magician. Period. Okay, I am the master magician. You stood in my way. Okay, and this whole thing about the smear campaign, people knew that this smear campaign, these people who were behind it, the smear campaign, they knew it was bullshit. And I'm talking about the people, I'm only referring to Rex Laverne. I know that he worked and then he created some sort of secrecy, and this is why when you deal with things that are of a covert nature, you need to be very careful about that. And I hope that this is a lesson for people. We don't do covert nature things. You should not do covert nature things, okay? Unless, of course, you are in some sort of government official position or whatever, and you have to sometimes organize things for the community. I mean, and so that is just the way it is. Certain things have to be held behind closed doors before it gets introduced to the public for several reasons, okay? That's the thought process of people of rulership, okay? You have to think things through, before you actually implement. You got to think about how that's going to affect people, what you're going to expect from the reaction from you. It's very deep, okay? But as far as like when you think you can conspire against people and then no, and I'm sure this stuff has been going on because I know that Kern County is like, they got the #1 badge award for being, into human trafficking. I want this to be a lesson to people, okay? I do. I know just because I'm black and I am King Solomon, okay, doesn't mean that I'm the only woman who is dealing with abuse, who is being human trafficked. This is a very serious issue, and speak out. Don't let people abuse you, okay? But the thing is, I don't want people to have to speculate whether Maria is interested in, at this point, I'm extremely spiritual. I'm extremely spiritual. Okay, and in my heart, and I'm going to tell you something. This is the truth. Okay, I feel as though humanity is so immoral that I can't possibly even imagine that. And I've been wondering, okay, am I ever going to have the kind of friendships that I really wanted? Is there even worth it? That's the truth. My feeling about mankind right now is just like, whoa, I don't know. Okay, because and believe me, I'm a very caring person. very caring, extremely sincere. This is one of the reasons why it blew me away when all of this stuff happened. Okay, when my mom started acting weird and the whole thing started, this was like a demon. This was demon. The whole thing was, to me, was just like demonic. Okay. Anyway, those were the intuitive messages. So anyway, going back to my father, or the apparition that is appearing on camera. Um, my father has appeared to me a few times. Okay, in visible form. Sometimes like you might catch something on a camera and it's just kind of shiny and it might be kind of a blobby color or shape or whatever. But I remember one time I was, at this person's house and I was spending the night. And you know how like back in the old days where like I used to call it snow. Snow in the channel. Like I think they call it the old analog channels or TVs. Back in the old days when TVs weren't so, this is back in the 90s, okay, when people were kind of transitioning from the old shitty TVs into the newer type TVs as they slowly, like, evolved, I guess. Anyway, so it was in the middle of the night, okay, and people used to say, don't watch TV, don't let that TV go into snow when in the middle of the night, right? And the reason why is because those little snowballs can act as a mirror or some sort of scrying mechanism to see into whatever the future. You can see images, you can see whatever. Okay, so I remember, I was sitting here like looking at the TV because me, I'm weird. Okay, I'm totally weird. I'm going to experiment with the snow, right? So I saw my dad, right? My dad's picture was in the picture in the snow, and he was kind of talking and stuff like that. So yeah, I've seen it that way, and I've also had vivid dreams about my father. And so I do, I communicate with my father. I do. So that could be, it could very well be him. And then I also do know that I am a divine being, and I have that sort of protection. Okay, I am obviously someone who is very connected to the divine, and this is what seems lucrative in Rex Lavern's mind. Okay, because a lot of men, they want to block women financially to where women cannot actually stand on their own until they get married, so that the man can have dominion over her. Okay, this is the reason why I don't get married. That's just one of them. Okay, the number one reason why I have no desire for intimacy, and this is not a lie. Okay, I have no desire for intimacy. The kind of intimacy I have is like I like to hug. Like I love hugging my, my dolls. I'll hug my son. I'll, that kind of stuff. Okay, those sort of emotional type things. Okay, I have no desire for any of that. And I told people this, you know what I mean? But they kept insisting, no, it is about fashion. My clothes are about fashion. It's either about the fashion or it's about the occult or something along those lines. It has nothing to do with male attraction. Nothing. Now, I'm not saying I will never, ever, 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 ever fall in love. I have no idea. I have no idea. Okay. But I don't really feel like that's important. You know what I mean? I don't feel as though it's essential to my life, and I don't like it being forced. You know what I mean? The difference in my view of relationships with a lot of people is that I want quality in everything. And the sad the part is that makes me like have this aversion to people is I understand people don't understand what sincerity is. They really don't. And I was thinking a lot about the family dynamic, about, how there's so much hatred for, parents and stuff like that, and the sad part is that the parents a lot of times deserve to be hated. You know what I mean? And intuitively, we know what the standard of a parent is. This is why we feel so disappointed when they don't act right. You know what I mean? Because there's no real love there. You know what I mean? And it's just like there's so much abuse in the system. The family's abusive, people having children for God knows what reason. And sometimes I think people have children just for the sake of abusing them. For sex or something else, some other sort of pleasure. They're probably in their warped minds like, well, I got to put this kid to use somehow. Seriously. I mean, I literally do not have any faith in mankind. Zero. That's deep. Okay. So my little radar is like, where's the bullshit? Where's the bullshit? I'm going to sense the bullshit and I'm going to try to scoot away. So like right now, I've put a barrier, with this person, that I have to work with. And it's I'm cool. I'm really cool with it. It's like, as long as I don't have to see your face, we're cool. Okay, we're cool. Just not, whatever. Things will work out for me however they work out, but they will not work out with you. Okay. I am very serious about my work. I take my work seriously. I'm not talking about the 9 to 5. Okay. Mind you, I'm going to tell you something about people who work in shitty professions. You do not, you may, I mean, work in shitty jobs. Okay. You may have a shitty job, but you don't throw away your profession. It doesn't matter if you don't like your boss. It doesn't matter what's going on there. If you have an assignment, you do your assignment. It's that simple. You know what I mean? Like, for example, I did want to talk about, certain, well, I'm not going to go there. There's not a point in that. But my point, my thing is that, because I believe in building a reputation. Okay. And I'm going to go more into that too. You know what I mean? I don't drop the ball. I don't forget what people tell me to do. I fucking do my work. Okay. Period. And if I don't, then there's a pretty goddamn good reason. Okay. Now, there was this thing that we had to do at work where he gave me this assignment, right? I'm going to tell you his flaws, okay? And I know he's watching this, okay? And so, like, for example, there was this one thing that he wanted me to do. He wanted me to call customers. Fine. Okay, fine. But the thing is, we had this issue with their phones and all this other stuff. But before that, though, I had written out the information that he'd communicated to me. Now, this is the first time I've ever done this before. Okay, this is a new system and everything. And what I do is I write out exactly what you've told me to do. And then I sent it to him to say, hey, am I doing this right? Right? I don't hear anything back from him. Nothing. Nothing. Yeah. So it's like, move on. Okay. When people put like quirks in the workflow, I hate that. I hate people who put quirks in the workflow. You know why? Because things need to keep moving. You know what I mean? And if I'm not going to be at work, like I've always been this way. If I'm not going to be at work, you best believe that my work is covered. If it's something that I have to do on a daily basis. Okay, like if I know I'm not going to be there on like Tuesday, you best believe that somehow my shit's going to be done. Okay, so that when I come back, the chain or the link of production is still going to go on. It doesn't. There is no gap. That's why you have certain people in workplaces that train somebody else to do your job. While you're gone. Okay. The stuff continually is supposed to go. I've been in places where people are like, oh, well, so-and-so, they're sick today. So then their shit piles up, right? The shit piles up everywhere. Okay. And I'm not saying that this kind of stuff goes on at work. I'm just telling you my work ethic. I take my work ethic very seriously. Okay. So fuck what goes on in your shitty institution. Okay. Because my name is attached to whatever I do there. Okay. So when people I take the whole writing of the procedures down seriously because I want to make sure I'm doing it right. Because before, and I'll tell you, I made a little bit of a mistake because, I had ended up deleting something in that system because, he didn't tell me certain instructions that could have been confirmed when I asked him about it. Okay, so the training there sucks. Now, I'm going to tell you what, when I was working over at BT Trucking, and the reason why this girl, she was a perp, I'm pretty sure I forgot her name. She knew who the owner was, okay, but she came in with an attitude. She should have been grateful that I was, gave her a job, but she could have been a racist. She could have been there for a reason. She could have been one of his spies or whatever. Anyway, I knew it was a very toxic situation, so I really didn't have the ability to go and give people the instructions and teach and manage the way that you're supposed to. It's toxic. Okay, I'm always in these situations. I was not hired at his place where I'm at now to do any managed work, to do any serious work, because he's a racist, and I know he's the one who is propagating all this other bullshit, and he tries to control people, so he doesn't want to give people what they're really worth. Okay, so I'm not even going there. Okay, and really, I was fine with not working in management anymore. To me, I'm trying to just make sure my bills are paid, and I'm really more into my independent projects. Mind you, though, I would say that when it comes to employment, because I do have plans in the future. Okay, and I'm always going to have to take care of myself, but I know that I cannot stay with this idiot forever. Okay, so in my mind, as time goes on, and I'm not ready to go now, but I'm going to be marking myself as an occupational engineer because I that's what I do. You know what I mean? I understand how to put processes together. I understand how I like listening to what people are talking about as far as what's going on in their company and putting things together. How does this department interact with the other one? How can this get done first? You know, what's the fastest way, the most, you know, efficient way of doing it? So that stuff interests me. But a lot, but of course, you know, I do accounting, I do general office work, and that's pretty much what it is. It's just like, you know, being more interactive with that if possible. Okay. Um, so I take my work seriously. I do. Okay. And I care about, you know, my reputation. So that's why I was saying, you know, you may not like your job, okay, but your profession is yours. And it doesn't matter, you know, if you have a 4-year degree or not. It's a fact that you have your skill. Your skill means something. Okay. And, you know, it's like you can't just give up and say, oh, I'm just going to go ahead and marry this asshole. I fucking hate that dude. Okay. Seriously, I hate that dude. He makes me sick. How dare you? You know what I mean? How dare you? And I'm not going to go into this much, okay? Because I understand right now he's feeling like shit, okay? And I'm at least showing him some mercy because, you know, it's just fucked up. Because I understand the shit that happened to me. I understand the mental game that went on with me. I understand the fucked up shit that people were doing to me. You know what I mean? And it wasn't fair. You know what I mean? And it was just outright evil. So anyway, yeah, I do also understand that and I've known this for a while, that I'm doing a lot of inspiring on social media. And the unfair part is that, you know, this was my ability. He will not allow me to have any sort of contact with people. Now you notice people do not like comment on my channel, but he's got this whole thing absorbed because he keeps me in a little box. That's abuse. Okay? That's abuse right there. People knew this. Okay, this is abuse. Shadow banning me, making sure I can't contact anybody. Oh, I'm all his. Like he feels like he has some sort of right of me. You don't. I have the right to, you know, have friends. You want to make sure that, you know, you just want to like snuff out my reputation. It's evil. Okay. And this is the stuff that I was going into in my video about, you know, these stalkers and then these people who, you know, want to use these sort of manipulative tactics to keep people where they are. Okay. So hopefully you guys will recognize those signs, you know, in the future. But yeah, you know, there's a lot that I have to do, and I really should have worked more on my project today, but I was still unwinding about this. I know that since all of my videos have been released, a lot of people have been talking more about psychology. A lot of people are talking more about law. And I know that it's me. Okay, I understand that this man has exploited my work, as well as I'm inspiring a lot of people who are into sewing now. I mean, I've done a lot. People are into miniatures now. People are all into this stuff, you know, that I should have been manning. Okay, but he was feeling in these delusions about me. I would put a fucking letter opener in his fucking goddamn neck. Okay, but I'm law abiding. But don't you dare think that I haven't thought about it. And don't you dare think that he doesn't deserve it. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this video up. You know, but I had to say that, really. I had to, because, you know, it's just it's not about arrogance. It's about me being enclosed. It's about me not having the sort of interactions. And don't get me wrong, you know, the people that I really felt like people are just evil at this point. I really do. But at the same time, it's my right. You know what I mean? It's my work. You know what I mean? And then you have all this, you're like manning the entire thing. How fucking selfish of you. Okay? You're evil. Period. Anyway, so yeah, but anyway, back to the payroll. Yeah, I do expect my payroll to be like sent over on Slack on Monday, and I expect all the time cards to be in order. And for everyone else, I'm going to be wrapping up this video. Seriously, this is just ridiculous.